Well, the best thing I ever did was marry my wife. And the best thing that happened was that she accepted. And we did it in we'd driven back toward Portland and parked on a hill that oversees Portland, and it was after dark, and that was when I proposed to her, and she accepted, and I took her back to school and immediately had to go back to Portland to stay that night because I had a National Guard meeting the next day. That was the only ticket I got. I didn't even remember driving into town, but I must have been going pretty fast because the policeman wasn't impressed that I just got accepted to be married.
You didn't get out of the ticket?
I didn't get out of anything, no. It was worth it. It was worth it. Amen. Amen. When I came, I was interviewed, and I was coming up from Oregon. And Jim Davidson was a sharp guy, and he gave me an interview. But I wore a navy blue suit and mahogany-colored shoes, and a white shirt, four-in-hand tie, and I even had a long overcoat and a hat, business hat, because you had to wear the uniform. Well, he said, "You wore blue shoes or a blue suit with red shoes." I says, "I thought they were mahogany, and I thought they fit better than that. They went together." And he says, "Oh, well, that's a good answer. You're sure of yourself." And I thought, "Oh, thank heavens for that." Anyway, they hired me, and I went to work for Jim Davidson. And every now and then, stepping back a little bit, the company would all go at 4:30 when quitting time, but everybody would go out certain doors. Well, Betty would come down and pick me up once in a while, and she would have to wait down on the street. Her comment was, "All these penguins come marching out of the building, and they almost look like they're animated." She couldn't get over the fact that everybody had on a derby hat, a four-in-hand tie, white shirts, suits only, no sports coats, no classy shoes. And that was part of the style. Can't do anything but marvel when you talk about your own children. Gee, both Marcy and Todd were adopted. And Marcy was born in '62, and she was born on the same day as my birthday. So we share birthday dates, and we've already made a big deal out of that. But she grew up to be a real wonderful daughter, and she's learned so much and grown so much in her life that it is a joy to have her around, and she has helped me immensely and do some research for from all of the memorabilia to come out and talk to you today, really. And Todd, he came along in '64, so they were 2 years apart. And he was born in Idaho, so we had to go over and pick him up and bring him home. And he was a strong boy. I mean, he could do things. He liked to participate. He was like I did. He didn't like to be the shining star so much, but he liked to work with people. And he learned the construction business and tried to, but we realized he had diabetes at age 12, and that was a bump in the road that we had not expected, but he took that on and fought that for the rest of his life because he could do other things and he worked around it. But we had such a great time because he liked to swim and he liked to fish and that thing. That was, I kind of blame it on Todd because he got me out of my easy chair. The Christmas he was 14 years old, he wanted to buy skiing lessons. He was a pretty good skier. The Mount Bachelor story, I like that one because we went up to the top of the mountain, icy, solid ice, just everything's clacking away. And we got off the ropes, and so I kind of scooted down the hill a little ways, and the hill banked over, and then it went into a large hollow run. And we got to the edge of that bank, and I said, I don't think I'm going to make that. He says, boy, I sure am. And he tipped these blades of skis over, and away he went. And here I am skinnying down the side of that mountain on the ice on my seat of my pants. But I did make it to the bottom, where we met up again. And I told him I was really surprised. He left me, but I was really glad he got down safe. For many years we had the boat. We had 10 years, and we could park it in our garage, and we could go out on the sound and do fishing. And we did a lot of salmon fishing, but we would do water skiing over in Lake Chelan. Great vacations. Marcy could go, Todd could go, and we could all play with a different group of people who went to, or just have fun together. Those were wonderful times. And to be in such a nice surrounding with your church friends was even made it better. With CMMA, I think of a lot of good things, but one is that they were so good about including significant others or spouses in all of their annual conferences. 1986 was a year in which I sponsored the conference meeting in Seattle, and we did a lot of neat things and had some special video and AV equipment presented at that. But, and then we did a special ride on Lake Washington, which was in one of the old antique boats, which no longer is afloat. And we got so many compliments from the people about setting a new precedent on what an annual meeting should be and how it should be held. And that organization gave me a chance to learn, because I was accepted in 1981. But over the years between then and the 1990s, I was served as the secretary, as treasurer, as vice president, and then as the president-elect, and then finally as the president in 1991 through 93. And it was following that, when I was getting ready to retire in 1997, that I was honored at the banquet at that year's conference by giving me the James R. Mund Lifetime Achievement Award. And that is probably the greatest reward I have ever received, and especially from a group of what I considered to be peers and lovely people, just no question about it. You enjoyed them whether you were working with them or enjoyed them whether they were playing together. And it was a great group, and still is to this date. We were pioneers, in a way, in industry, in videotape. And it was just the team we put together was fun. We had a good time together, and we still were very serious about the work that we did. We won contests, we won awards, and then as we got more into it and became acquainted with CMMA, we got a little more credit. How silent the woods would be if only the best birds sang. And the idea was that so many times people were hired and worked, but they were at odds with someone and would fight. And that was not necessary, because we were really, it was an idea that we were all on the same team. And if we were working for another outside department, they were part of our team. I consider myself a Christian and have for many years. I was at one time when I was a teenager, maybe not quite so certain, but when I was 16 years old and had just received my driver's license, well, my friends and I had bought fireworks, and we took them with us over to the park where we fired them off. And one of them was a pipe contraption that we had put together that you could drop a firecracker in and drop a rock on top of it, and it would act like a bazooka and shoot a rock way up in the sky. In one case, I was to put the match down the pipe, and as soon as the match touched the edge of the pipe, it exploded. And it didn't shatter, it was not shrapnel, but it hit me from the nose up. it didn't hurt. Didn't hurt any of the guys. They were back far enough that they got singed, but that was it. But I went immediately to an ophthalmologist that they found somebody that would open their door that night and let us in Portland, and he bandaged. He picked powder out of both eyes and bandaged them both, so I was without any sight for 4 days before I was to go back. And after I got through with the ophthalmologist, I had to go to the hospital. And the hospital spent the rest of the time working the powder out of my forehead. And in those days, I had hair down here a little further, and he said, "Don't worry about it, the hair will hide it." Well, it doesn't hide it anymore, but it's disappeared somehow. But the last day, going back to the ophthalmologist, and he gave me a sight check on both eyes and simply wrote across his calendar for my name, "It's a miracle." I could still see out of both eyes. And I have always since then thanked the Lord for saving my eyes. He did. And that to me was the concrete. I have tried to worship him every day of my life. And I've been thankful that even through this episode now, he has been there for me, and he has not changed. If there had been any change, it's been me, and he's been faithful to help me through, and I have been so fortunate here that it hasn't been worse, and I'm just praising him that he has seen fit to let me live a little bit longer. So thank you for asking. Well, I think that maybe a lot of people think that he manages all the tough stuff, but I think that he takes care of that automatically, and he takes care of the good stuff even more. And I don't know, I feel that my God is limitless in his ability, and the fact that he will not forget us. It says we can really ask in his name and it will be granted. And we can't abuse that. But he's faithful, and he's still at work, and he will still take care of us. No question about that. Hunter has been a shining star for us. He's done so many things, and when he finally got into school, he took up track and took up ceramic pottery and he just won awards on his own right, but he achieved things. And so he succeeded getting through high school and went on to college and took the pilgrimage walk across Spain as part of the college course and succeeded at that within the time limitations and all the write-up that he had to do. And now he's off on his own on doing business issues, working within the state of Washington. So he's done quite well, and we've just been so proud because he's won so many awards in the track and field, and he likes to stay healthy and likes to run, but he also took up ceramics, and he has been honored by many achievements, and one is the King County school system. He won 2 years in a row in the category for his types of ceramic work. And then went on to enter and win the George Fox College in Newberg, Oregon, annual high school contest for ceramics, and just did a beautiful job there. But this is the kind of skill he has that right now is laying in wait with the turning wheel and the clay and all that in a storage. So we're hoping he can get back to that soon. But whatever he does, I'm sure he will succeed. He's a good young man. One thing I can say about Hunter, he's always been very good to do his school lessons. And one day we found out that he was asked to write it. This was first or second grade, I think. In any case, he had to write something about who his favorite person was. And lo and behold, his favorite person was his grandfather, and I saw that it was me he was talking about, and I read down through this, and he was telling about some of the neat things we had done together, and some of the things that were happy for him, and we had, and he said, and one line was, and he even tells stories, and they're funny. And I thought, gosh, that's pretty good. I tell fun stories, and they aren't so boring. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. And that's the way I've got that sitting on my desk right now, which Hunter said I was funny. My first thought is I wish there was something I could say that would be really meaningful for more people. But I've been certainly blessed in my life, and if I can say there's any examples there that would be positive and helpful, then I'm glad. And I would hope they would be useful to others. But I feel like my family has been supportive of me above and beyond all. My goodness, they've taken the worst of me probably and taken that right along with whatever was the best. And I have to thank them because I love every one of them. That mean a lot to me. Ooh, boy.
And why?
I think it would be seeing into people's hearts so you could tell what they really mean and what they really might want or wish for. Because that's a real skill by those that are able to talk to people and recognize their attributes that they don't accept or don't believe. And I think my wife has done that. I think she accomplished that in spades so well. We had a deal about 8 years ago in which Easter was coming, and I like Cadbury eggs, okay? So I bought Cadbury eggs, and I gave Hunter a few Cadbury eggs, and Marcy too for that matter, but in any case, this was before Easter, and as Easter got closer, the eggs got cheaper, and I gave him more. Well, Easter went by, and bless her heart, Bartell's had a sale on all their outgoing Easter candy, and I cleaned out the Cadbury egg box, which must have meant I had about 20 boxes of 3 Cadbury eggs, which lasted until sometime the following Christmas when I gave him the last package. Well, it became a deal that I had to get more. So believe it or not, Hunter's been out of school now, out of high school for 4 years, and I've still got 4 containers full of Cadbury eggs waiting for him in the back room.
Wow.
I like that. I like sour balls, so he got me sour balls. Oh.
Are you ready to be done? No.
No, take more.
More. Here's Rich.
There's our buddy.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
All right.